Welcome to e-commerce psychology. Ever get that feeling looking back at a deal you missed, thinking, oh, I should have grabbed that?
Yeah, that little twinge.
Exactly.
Right.
Well, today we're diving deep into that feeling. It's called anticipatory regret. And we're going to explore how this, well, pretty powerful psychological tool really shapes our decisions, especially when we're shopping online.
Right. How that fear of feeling bad later pushes us to, act now.
Yeah. So this deep dive is actually drawing from an article called Using Anticipatory Regret to Increase Immediate Actions, E-commerce Psychology.
And our mission today really is to get under the hood of how marketers and others too use this feeling, this anticipation of future if-onlys to get us to buy now, sign up, or even change our behavior.
Looking at the practical side, how it works in the e-commerce world you see every day. And a quick note, this deep dive is powered by Growth Suite, which helps stores run smart discount campaigns. We'll touch on that connection later.
Definitely relevant here.
Okay, so let's start with the basics. What exactly is anticipatory regret?
So in simple terms, it's that feeling you get before you make a choice. You're imagining how much you might regret not doing something.
Okay, so like seeing a limited time offer.
Exactly. And that little voice pops up, if I don't get this now, am I going to kick myself later when it's full price or gone? That's anticipatory regret.
Got it. So our brain's running a little simulation of future disappointment.
You nailed it. And yeah, it feels super relevant to today's fast online world. But the idea itself, it actually comes from something called regret management theory.
Ah, okay. Not just a modern marketing trick then.
No, it's pretty fundamental. But businesses, especially in marketing and e-commerce, have definitely learned how to, let's say, harness it.
Because it drives immediate action, right? Boosts conversions.
Absolutely. More immediate actions mean better conversion rates, more revenue.
Yeah.
It's key. And interestingly, economists look at it too. They see it as a big factor in decisions about spending, saving, even investing.
Makes sense. It's not just a fleeting thing, it has real economic impact. So what's going on inside our heads? What's the brain science making it so potent?
Well, when we think about a potentially negative outcome, like missing out, a part of the brain called the amygdala, that's the emotion center it lights up.
Okay.
And at the same time, the prefrontal cortex, which is our decision-making hub, starts weighing those future possibilities. It's almost asking, okay, seriously, how bad will I feel later if I pass this up?
So it's like an emotional alarm bell plus a future forecast.
Pretty much. Think of it like dual system theory in action. You've got the fast, emotional brain yelling, avoid the pain, don't miss out. And the slower, reflective brain going, yeah, acting now avoids that future regret. Plus, this might be a good move anyway.
And that desire to dodge the future ew feeling pushes us.
It often does. Pushes us towards the choice that feels safer emotionally right now, the one that avoids that predicted pain.
Okay, brains trying to protect us from future disappointment. How does this translate into those marketing messages we see constantly? The hurry and don't miss out stuff.
Oh, they're everywhere, aren't they? Those phrases, last day to save, only chance this year. They're absolutely designed to plug straight into that anticipatory regret.
Tapping into FOMO, the fear of missing out.
Exactly. They get you to picture future you, feeling bummed out for not grabbing the chance.
Yeah, I can admit I've felt that when a sale ends on something I was eyeing.
We all have. And look, it's effective for encouraging action, but there's a really important balance here.
You mean with trust?
Yeah. Transparency is key. If it feels overly manipulative or the urgency isn't real, it can totally backfire, damage trust. But used ethically, it can genuinely help customers get something they want and avoid that regret while the business makes a sale. Win-win, potentially.
Right, a delicate line to walk. Okay, so we've got the basic psychology. Can we dig a bit deeper into the neurobiology? What exactly happens when we face, say, missing out on cheap flights?
Okay, so when you imagine those last tickets selling out, your orbital prefrontal cortex and the amygdala, they actually work together to simulate that future disappointment. It's like a mental rehearsal of feeling let down.
Wow.
Okay. And then there's the dopamine system, our reward circuitry. It's tracking something called reward prediction errors.
Reward prediction error.
Yeah, basically, if your brain expects a potential reward, like getting that cheap flight, and then senses you might lose that potential reward by hesitating, it sends out a negative signal, like an potential gain slipping away signal. That itself prompts action.
That's fascinating. So the fear of losing a potential gain is almost as powerful a trigger as an actual loss.
In a way, yes. And something else really ramps this up. Counterfactual thinking.
Counterfactual, meaning what if?
Exactly. Our natural tendency to imagine what-if scenarios. What if I don't buy this now and it sells out and I really need it later? Thinking about those alternative negative outcomes makes the potential regret feel much more intense. It boosts that feeling we want to avoid.
Okay, so our brains really don't like those negative what ifs. What are the main sort of cognitive and emotional drivers behind this?
Well, a huge one is loss aversion. We talked about feeling losses more strongly. That's loss aversion. Missing out on a 50% discount often feels way worse than the pleasure of getting something unexpected for free.
Right, that definitely resonates. Missing a deal stings.
Totally. Then there's self-blame. We really don't like the idea of looking back and thinking, oh, I should have done that. It's my fault I missed out. Anticipating that future self-criticism motivates us now.
Trying to avoid blaming our future selves.
Exactly. And finally, timing or temporal framing is crucial. The closer something feels, the more real the potential regret. A sale ending in, like, 2 hours feels much more urgent than one ending in 2 weeks.
So those countdown clocks and ending soon banners are hitting that temporal framing nerve.
Precisely. But it's also really important to remember that not everyone reacts the same way. Individual differences matter.
Ah, okay. Tell me more. Who's more prone to this?
Well, research suggests that people described as maximizers, those folks who always need to find the absolute best possible option, they tend to feel more regret generally.
Because they're always wondering about the options they didn't pick.
You got it. So they're naturally more sensitive to the fear of future regret. And similarly, people who are generally more risk-averse also tend to be more motivated by avoiding that potential pain of a missed opportunity.
Makes sense. They're already wired to avoid downsides.
Exactly. And you even see some cultural nuances where the basic avoidance of future bad feelings is pretty universal. In collectivist cultures, regret might be more tied to social approval, whereas individualistic ones link it more to personal gains or losses. Even life stage can matter. Think about adolescents potentially making more impulsive choices driven by regret avoidance.
Interesting. So, okay, marketers know this. How do they specifically weave it into their strategies? Let's see some concrete example.
Right, let's get practical. Email campaigns are a classic. Subject lines like, don't regret missing this, or your last chance before it's gone. Very direct plays.
Designed to make you click now.
Yep. And social proofs is another big one. Seeing 10,000 plus people already bought this, or selling fast. That creates a sense of, uh-oh, everyone else is getting this benefit? I might be left out.
The fear of being the odd one out, missing the trend.
Precisely. And then, of course, pricing tactics. Limited time offers, flash sales, announcing a price increase soon. They all manufacture that now or never feeling, making future regret seem almost certain if you don't act.
Got it. Those are clear e-commerce tactics. What about beyond just marketing messages? How does this show up in, say, website design or app functionality, digital optimization stuff?
Oh, definitely. Ever abandoned a shopping cart?
Maybe once or twice.
Yeah. Those retargeting ads that follow you around. Still thinking about these? Others are buying them fast. That's pure anticipatory regret. They're reminding you of what you might lose.
Right, reminding me of my potential future regret.
Exactly. Or progress bars during checkout or sign-up forms. Sometimes they have little messages like, you're almost there. Don't abandon now and miss out. It nudges you to finish.
Ah, subtle.
And the obvious ones. Scarcity messaging. Only 2 seats left at this price. Low stock. Those directly trigger the fear of missing the opportunity entirely.
Yeah, those low stock warnings always get my attention. Okay, so if a business wants to use these ideas effectively, but also, ethically, what's key for designing the actual messages?
It's really about finding that sweet spot between, let's say, highlighting potential loss and offering hope or benefit. You don't want to just scare people.
So less, you'll be miserable. And more.
More like showing comparative scenarios. Here's the benefit you gain by acting now versus here's what you might miss if you wait. Simple stories, maybe customer testimonials work well too. I almost waited, but I'm so glad I bought it when I did.
Showing the positive resolution, not just the potential negative.
Exactly. It frames the action as avoiding regret and gaining something positive. Balance is crucial.
Okay, that's the messaging. What about, nudges within the user experience itself?
Yeah, behavioral nudges. Things like default settings used carefully and transparently, of course. Maybe a beneficial subscription is pre-checked with a clear note like, most users prefer this to lock in savings and avoid future price increases. You can change this anytime.
So it frames staying opted in as the regret-avoiding choice.
Right, or feedback loops. After someone buys, confirming their choice. Great decision. You've just secured benefit and avoided missing out. Reinforces the positive feeling.
Nice touch.
Even gamification. Small rewards or badges for immediate actions can create a mini FOMO. If someone delays, they miss out on that little achievement.
Interesting ways to subtly guide things, but this all sounds like it could easily cross a line, right?
Yeah.
What are the ethical guardrails?
Absolutely critical point. The biggest danger is manipulating or overly pressuring people. That erodes trust fast.
Like creating fake scarcity, only 2 left, when there are hundreds.
Exactly. That's deceptive and ultimately damages the brand. Real deadlines, real scarcity, genuine reasons, that's a key.
Yeah.
And providing clear ways out, no trickery.
And considering the impact.
Yes, especially on vulnerable individuals. Intense regret messaging could really negatively affect someone with anxiety, for example. It needs to be helpful persuasion, not exploitation. The goal should always be mutual benefit. The customer avoids genuine regret and gets value. The business gains a satisfied customer.
Okay, responsible use is paramount. Now, if a business implements these strategies, how do they know if they're actually working? How do you measure effectiveness?
Well, you start with the numbers, quantitative stuff. The most direct measure is conversion rate. Are more people buying, signing up, whatever, after you introduce these regret-focused cues? Compare before and after.
Makes sense. What else?
You can track abandonment recovery rates. Are those don't miss out emails bringing more people back to finish their purchase? Also, look at longer-term metrics like customer retention and churn. If people feel pressured into buying, they might have buyer's remorse later and leave.
So short-term gains could hide long-term problems if you overdo it.
Precisely. That's why you also need qualitative insights.
Talking to customers.
Yeah, user interviews, surveys. Ask why they decided to act now. Are they mentioning things like didn't want to miss the deal or was worried the price would go up? That tells you the regret messaging is landing.
What about website behavior?
Heat maps can be revealing. Are people clicking on or hovering over the limited time text? And A/B testing is essential.
Testing different versions.
Exactly. Test different ways of framing the regret. Maybe don't miss out versus secure your savings now. Test the intensity. How strong is the regret language? Test the timing. Does an exit intent pop-up invoking regret work better than an earlier banner?
So constant testing and refinement based on data.
Always. That's how you find what works for your audience without crossing ethical lines.
Okay, let's talk real-world examples. Can you give some case studies where anticipatory regret was used successfully in e-commerce?
Sure. Amazon's lightning deals are a classic.
Yeah.
Very clear time limits, visible scarcity, percent claimed. It pushes that immediate purchase decision to avoid missing the discount.
Yeah, those are definitely effective.
Abandoned cart emails, as we mentioned. Many brands do this well, framing it as, did you forget something? Or your items are waiting, don't let them get away. It's a softer regret nudge.
Right.
And think about those limited edition product drops, especially with influencers. The hype, the exclusivity, the messaging about how fans will feel if they miss out, it drives massive, immediate sales.
Definitely taps into that FOMO and regret avoidance hard. Okay, what about outside pure e-commerce? Any examples in, say, health or finance?
Oh yeah, it's used there too, often for behavior change.
Yeah.
Public health campaigns are a good example. Don't regret not getting your flu shot this winter. They highlight the negative future outcome, getting sick, that you could avoid.
Making you imagine the regret of being ill when you could have prevented it?
Exactly. Smoking cessation ads often evoke future regret over declining health or its impact on family. And financial apps might use prompts like, are you saving enough for retirement? Don't regret starting too late.
Highlighting future financial hardship.
Right. But the key in these areas, especially health and finance, is pairing the regret appeal with a very clear, simple action. Book your flu shot appointment now. Click here to set up automatic savings. Reduce the friction to act.
Make the solution easy once the motivation is there. Okay, this is powerful stuff, but we touched on ethics. What are the big risks and future challenges here?
The main risk is definitely sliding into manipulation. Overdoing the pressure, creating that false scarcity we talked about, it just breeds resentment and damages your brand's reputation long term.
Trust is hard to win back.
Very. And again, the potential negative impact on people prone to anxiety or compulsive behaviors needs careful consideration. The intensity has to be calibrated.
So looking ahead, what's changing? Any emerging trends?
Well, personalization is huge, right? Imagine AI tailoring regret triggers based on your specific browsing history and known sensitivities. An abandoned cart message could become much more specific to your potential reasons for regretting inaction.
That sounds potentially effective, but also a bit creepy.
Exactly. There are ethical debates there. And even further out, people talk about neurofeedback, measuring stress or regret signals in real time to optimize messages. Huge ethical questions there, obviously.
Yeah, okay. That's definitely future-gazing territory.
And we'll likely see more nuanced cross-cultural adaptations appealing to group regret versus individual regret, depending on the market.
Fascinating. So if someone listening wants to start thinking about applying this, say, in their own marketing or e-commerce work, what's a simple roadmap?
Okay, first step, a pre-campaign audit. What are the common things your customers might regret? Missing discounts, delaying a sign-up, understand their potential pain points. Also, look at competitors. How are they using urgency or regret themes? Can you do it better, more ethically?
Know your customer, know your landscape. Then,
Campaign design. Build narratives. Don't just say limited time. Show the positive outcome of acting. Hint at the dissatisfaction of the future self if they don't act. But always offer that hopeful resolution if they do take the desired action.
breathe it into a story.
Yeah. And pick your channels wisely. Email or push notifications might work for last-minute triggers, website banners, or social media for gentler, earlier reminders.
Match the channel to the intensity and timing. And after launch.
Post-launch optimization is key. Keep testing message intensity, timing, visuals based on the data you're getting, and critically monitor customer sentiment. Check reviews, social media mentions. Are people feeling pressured or manipulated? You need to catch that early and adjust.
Constant vigilance on the ethical front.
Absolutely. It's about sustainable, trust-based persuasion, not short-term tricks.
This has been really insightful. Understanding anticipatory regret, you start seeing it everywhere, not just in marketing, but in our own daily choices too.
It's a fundamental part of how we navigate uncertainty and potential future outcomes. Being aware of it helps you make more conscious choices as a consumer and use it more responsibly if you're in business.
Definitely encourages thinking about that balance between effective persuasion and genuinely maintaining customer trust and goodwill.
It really does,
Mhm.
especially in e-commerce where driving those immediate actions is so crucial. But long-term relationships depend on that trust.
So, a final thought for our listeners to chew on. As personalization technology gets ever more sophisticated, how do you think that will change the way anticipatory regret is used? And maybe more importantly, how we perceive it and react to it?
That's the big question going forward. And remember, this deep dive was powered by Growth Suite. If you're running a Shopify store and want to implement smart, ethical discount strategies that connect with customer psychology, check them out on the Shopify App Store. You can test it for free.